I'm Megan Mitchell. I'm a transformational coach. Today I'm here with a group of lovely certified life coaches running this workshop discussion. According to a Google search, many people nowadays feel bored due to a lack of excitement and inspiration in their lives. For instance, all those amazing things we see on social media, and then we think, why my life is like that? My life is just boring, it's dull. The question is, why don't people try to change it? Why we tend to avoid challenges and risks, and we stick to our own routines, resist change?
My current fear is social media, fear of being seen, fear of being judged. And I need to get over that so that I can provide my services to the world.
Have you thought about anything that it helps you to overcome those fears?
I'm practicing like looking in the mirror and telling myself I'm confident, I'm valuable, then it's just like then the step from to myself and then getting on the phone and like recording and getting used to that too. I feel like there's so many steps that I need to in order to do, and it's just like it's practice.
I have similar problem. I don't feel confident enough to come sit in front of the camera and speak in English because this is my second language. And then thinking of what if they don't understand me? What if they judge me? What if our conversation is not that useful for other people? What if, lots of these questions. But I just thought if I focus on how we make this conversation useful for someone who watches this video, just shifting the focus on serving rather than thinking about myself. That really pushed me to to just come sit. And then to be honest, like everything else, like anything you start new, you don't have like enough confidence, and just just it's another skill we need to learn. So it's also about learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Guys, what about you?
We judge ourselves the worst thing ever, like from other people's perspectives of us, totally different. We just keep reminding ourselves that our own judgment is that's holding us back.
I think a lot of our fears come from feeling or not feeling good enough. So, it could have been a parent telling us. So personally, I have a story of like, I don't know how to sweep. And the reason I don't know how to sweep is because I was continually criticized as a child. So every time I swept, I would have my mother sitting there saying, "You missed a spot. You missed a spot," right? And so now it's like, well, I just don't know how to sweep. And then 100% like blame it on my mother. I'm like, well, it's your fault. I don't know how to sweep. You kept criticizing me, so I'm just not gonna do it, right? And so, of course, I sweep. But it was just one of those like, I'm just not good enough, right? But that feeling of not being good enough, it goes with us. Whether it's a teacher telling us you don't know how to write, you're never going to amount to anything, you're not good enough at math, you want to be an engineer, what are you thinking? Whatever it is, right? I think it comes from that not feeling good enough. And so for me, it's like, well, the not feeling good enough came from the outside, and it kind of uh, ate at our self-confidence. And because we wanted to please, we wanted to not be judged by someone else. And so we have to somehow get that inner feeling of feeling good enough to come out, right? Because we are the only ones who can tell ourselves that we're good enough, right? I heard my friend the other day told me the acronym of fear. Hold on, I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget. Oh, oops, because I knew I would forget in this moment exactly what that was. And it's false evidence appearing real, right? So if you think about that, it's really, um, this fear of speaking or this fear of being successful, you know, like why is it there? What is it that I'm afraid of? And it's really, I think, this feeling, this inner feeling of not feeling good enough. And so if we can kind of, well, I am good enough. If I am my authentic self and I am who I'm supposed to be, I'm nothing more, nothing less. I'm just good enough. And if I can conjure that in myself, now I can motivate myself to become exactly who I need to be. So I think it's just that, false evidence appearing real.
And I think this goes back to where we started with the social media, because we see so many people on social media with their perfect lives. And we think we have to be as perfect to be too on social media to show up. And like Therese said, I think it's more about being yourself and becoming yourself and showing that instead of trying to be as perfect as someone else. Like what you said at the beginning, Megan, about people being bored or in their lives, they don't want to change or they don't get to change. For me, it was growing up. I always heard you have to have a career, you have to earn enough money so you have a good life. It was always this kind of, for me, actually lie that when you do everything well, you will be happy, you have a good life. And no one is really happy. And they all wonder why they're not happy, they don't have a good life, because they try to do everything everyone tells them to do for a good life. But in the end, happiness doesn't come from the outside. It's from the inside. And I think so many people miss this, that you really have to don't sit like a princess in a tower and wait for someone to come and give you that perfect life. You have to act yourself, and then sure, fear comes in to act. I do have the fear too to start, I don't know, social media and so on. But then I think, okay, this is just thoughts in my head telling me it might go wrong. Maybe they're also telling me you will be famous. I don't know. It could be good thoughts or bad thoughts, but the thoughts are just thoughts. And the difference is acting on them. Just do it. Just go and do it. And then what's the experience. And when you have experience, you know how it is. But a lot of people are held back just by their thoughts. They never do the step to experience something.
Have a lot of thoughts around the fears, so the limiting beliefs of family upbringing or things that could have happened in your life that you're not good enough. That I have it, I'm sure. I had it. Now I'm telling myself, change the narrative. No, is the first thing. So I used to feel that I was not good enough. Now I feel that I'm good enough. So now I started changing that. And but this new identity, but also the perfectionism, what you were saying, Emily, like to be perfect, no? So, and I realized, okay, the new identity, I tell myself, okay, don't think I didn't go to the hairdresser, I can see my white hair, so I've been doing everything, some the worst job ever, no? I've been doing all these, no? Like I changed glasses, okay, I have new glasses. Then I bought jackets, okay, I have new jackets for the Instagram. So it's about testing and coming out from all these fears that are stopping myself.
I love the fact that everyone are very aware of all these fears and their own patterns. And that's the first step to change our lives, because first we need to be aware of it and then change our stories about ourselves. And I add to what Rebecca said about being a perfectionist. I love it that she didn't wait, and before she feels she is ready, she started it, because if we wait until one day we are ready, it could be years and years waiting.
It's crazy because it's so much easier to coach someone else, right? We could see it for others, but as to what Emily said, we're so hard on ourselves. I think for me, that's what stops me, right? Like I'm an accountability and mindset coach. It's so easy for me to be like, like a doctor, like this is what you need to do, A, B, and C. And then for yourself, you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Because there's so many layers of doubts and, telling yourself, you're not good enough. And then my old self is like, what are you doing? No, not, no. So it goes back. And so I have that toggling, like I want to move forward. And here I go back again.
This is our unconscious mind make most of our decisions in life. We just need to take the power from it. Just need to ask, is it life-threatening? It's just a feeling, and feeling comes and goes.
Everyone is going through the same process, so we're not alone. Now do it. Just, the more you do it, the better we get. Just, that's the practice make progress. That's all.